Close your eyes and think about your most vivid memory, the one that feels more real than anything else, the one you can replay in your mind with perfect clarity, every sound, every smell, every emotion. Now imagine discovering that memory never happened, not a distorted version, not a misremembered detail. It never existed at all. No photographs, no witnesses, no proof, just you, holding on to something that everyone else insists is impossible. This is what's happening to people across America. They're remembering entire events, complete experiences, full conversations that left no trace in reality. And the memories aren't vague or dreamlike. They're sharper, more detailed, more emotionally powerful than their real memories. Which raises a terrifying question. If you can remember something so perfectly that never happened, how do you know anything you remember is real? Rachel Montgomery was 26 years old when her past disappeared. For 10 years she had carried one of her most treasured memories, her senior prom in Denver, Colorado, May 2014. She remembered everything. The red satin dress her mother bought her at Nordstrom, the way it felt against her skin, slightly too tight around the waist. The corsage Jason gave her, white roses with baby's breath, the petals soft and cool when she touched them. The song they danced to, 1,000 Years by Christina Perri. The moment they announced her name as prom queen, the weight of the plastic crown on her head, the applause echoing in the gymnasium. She remembered laughing so hard she snorted when her best friend Amanda tripped over her own dress. She remembered her stockings tearing on the bleachers, the run crawling up her left leg. She remembered the taste of cheap punch, too sweet, leaving her tongue sticky. It was October 2024 when Rachel's memory shattered. She was scrolling through Facebook feeling nostalgic when she decided to find her old classmates. She searched for Amanda first. They'd lost touch after graduation, drifted apart the way people do. When she found Amanda's profile, she sent a message. "Remember prom? God, we were so young. Miss those days." Amanda's reply came 2 hours later. "What prom? They canceled it. Don't you remember? The fire in the gym?" Rachel stared at the screen. Fire? There was no fire. She was there. She danced with Jason. She wore the crown. She sent another message. "No, we had prom. I have the whole night in my head. You were there." Amanda responded, "Rach, I don't know what you're talking about. The gym caught fire 2 weeks before prom. Electrical issue. They canceled everything. We were all devastated. You cried for days." Rachel's hands started shaking. She searched for Jason Martinez. When she found him, she sent a direct message, something she hadn't done in a decade. "Hey, this is weird, but do you remember our prom? 2014. Jason's response came the next morning. "Rachel, from high school? I think you have me confused with someone else. We didn't go to the same school. I graduated from East High. You were at Lincoln, right?" Rachel felt the floor tilt beneath her. They absolutely went to the same school. They had chemistry class together junior year. They went to prom together. She remembered his navy blue suit, the way he fumbled with the corsage, almost dropping it. She remembered the way he held her during the slow dance, too nervous to look her in the eyes. She remembered everything. She went to her mother's house that afternoon, pulled out the cardboard boxes from the garage, the ones labeled Rachel High School. She tore through yearbooks, looking for prom photos. There were none. She found pictures from junior prom, her in a blue dress, not red, standing with a group of girls. But senior prom? Nothing. She asked her mother, voice cracking, "Mom, where are the pictures from my senior prom?" Her mother looked confused. "Honey, there was no senior prom. Don't you remember? The gymnasium fire? You were so upset. You and Amanda watched movies at our house instead." Rachel went to the public library. She requested archived copies of her high school newspaper from May 2014. The headline read, "Senior prom canceled following gym fire. Students expressed disappointment." There were photos of the damaged building, interviews with crying students, a statement from the principal. No prom, no dance, no crown. But Rachel remembered it. She remembered the texture of the dress fabric, the sticky floor under her heels, the way the disco ball cast moving lights across Jason's face. She remembered her stockings tearing. She remembered the song, She remembered the applause. Marcus Davidson, 32 years old, a software developer in Atlanta, had a similar problem. He remembered Hawaii. 2 weeks in Maui, summer of 2019. He remembered checking into the Grand Wailea Resort, room 847, ocean view, balcony overlooking the beach. He remembered the bartender at the pool bar, a guy named Kai with a tribal tattoo on his forearm who made the best Mai Tais Marcus had ever tasted. He remembered the sunset on the third night, orange and pink bleeding across the sky, the way the light turned the water gold. He remembered the sunburn on his shoulders, the way his wife Rachel, different Rachel, had laughed and called him a lobster. He remembered the sand between his toes, warm and gritty. He remembered snorkeling at Molokini Crater, seeing a sea turtle up close, its ancient eyes watching him. In March 2024, Marcus was applying for a new passport. He needed to prove his travel history. When he requested his records, Hawaii wasn't there. No flight to Maui, no flight back. He called the resort. They had no reservation under his name in 2019. He checked his credit card statements from that summer. No hotel charges, no airline tickets, no restaurant bills from Hawaii. He asked his wife about the trip. She looked at him like he was losing his mind. "Marcus, we didn't go to Hawaii in 2019. You worked all summer. We were saving for the house. Remember?" He didn't remember that. He remembered Hawaii. He remembered the weight of the lei they put around his neck at the airport, the smell of plumeria flowers. He remembered the taste of poke bowls, fresh and cold, eaten on the beach at sunset. He remembered his wife in her yellow bikini, the one she never wore again after that trip. Except there was no trip. His bank account confirmed it. His passport confirmed it. His wife confirmed it. But Marcus's mind held 2 weeks of memories, vivid, detailed, emotionally rich memories, of a vacation that left no trace in the physical world. Linda Chen was 40 years old when she discovered her brother Daniel never existed. She had mourned him for 29 years. He died in a car accident in 1995, she remembered. He was 7 years old. She was 11. It was raining. A truck ran a red light. Daniel was in the back seat. She remembered the funeral, the small white casket, the way her mother sobbed so hard she collapsed, the way the church smelled like lilies and rain. She remembered her guilt, the thought that haunted her for decades. She was supposed to be watching him that day. If she had been paying attention, maybe he wouldn't have been in the car. Linda carried that grief her entire adult life. She named her own son Daniel in memory of the brother she lost. She visited the cemetery every year on the anniversary, or at least she thought she did. In June 2024, during a conversation with her mother about family history, Linda mentioned Daniel. Her mother went silent. Then she said, very carefully, "Linda, you don't have a brother. You're an only child. You always have been." Linda felt her reality crack. She argued. She insisted. She described the accident, the funeral, the casket. Her mother's face went pale. "I don't know where you got these ideas, but none of that happened. I only had one child. You." Linda demanded to see Daniel's death certificate. There wasn't one. She went to the cemetery she remembered visiting. No gravestone with his name. She searched through family photo albums. No pictures of Daniel. No baby photos. No birthday parties. No proof he ever existed. But Linda remembered him. She remembered his face, round cheeks, dark eyes, the way his hair stuck up in the morning. She remembered his voice, high and excited when he talked about dinosaurs. She remembered reading him bedtime stories, Where the Wild Things Are, and The Very Hungry Caterpillar. She remembered his room, the blue walls with glow-in-the-dark stars. She remembered his favorite stuffed animal, a brown bear named Coco. She remembered holding his hand. She remembered the sound of his laugh. She remembered her brother, but he was never born. Rachel, Marcus, and Linda have never met. They live in different cities, different states, different lives, but they share something that shouldn't be possible. They remember, with absolute clarity, events that never happened. These aren't vague impressions or confused recollections. They're not dreams misremembered as reality. They're complete, detailed, sensorially rich memories that feel more real than their actual past. And here's what makes it truly disturbing. These false memories aren't random. Rachel's prom represented a moment of teenage happiness, a night she would have treasured. Marcus's Hawaii trip symbolized escape and relaxation he desperately needed. Linda's brother filled a childhood loneliness she actually experienced. The fake memories aren't just vivid, they're emotionally significant. They're the memories these people wanted to have, needed to have, or feared they should have had. Online forums are filling with similar stories. People remembering graduations that were canceled, remembering relatives who never lived, remembering conversations that never occurred. And in every case, the memory includes sensory details that shouldn't exist. Tastes, smells, textures, sounds. Rachel remembers the exact feeling of her stockings tearing. Marcus remembers the specific flavor of a Mai Tai made by a bartender who doesn't exist. Linda remembers the weight of a child's hand that never held hers. The question isn't just how these memories form, it's why they feel so real. Why do memories of events that never happened seem sharper, more detailed, more emotionally powerful than memories of things that actually occurred? Why can Rachel describe every moment of a prom night that left no trace, but she can't remember what she actually did that May in 2014? Why does Marcus's fake vacation feel more real than the summer he actually lived through? And the most unsettling question, if your mind can create an entire event, complete with sights, sounds, emotions, and physical sensations, how do you know which memories are real? How do you trust your own past when your brain can generate false experiences that feel more authentic than truth? Rachel still feels the weight of the prom crown on her head. Marcus still tastes the Mai Tai. Linda still hears her brother's laugh. And no amount of evidence can erase what they remember, because the memories exist, just not in the world everyone else lives in. In 1995, psychologist Elizabeth Loftus conducted an experiment that changed everything we thought we knew about memory. She took participants and implanted a false childhood memory, being lost in a shopping mall at age 5. She provided a few details: the mall, the fear, being found by an elderly woman. Within days, participants not only remembered the event, they added details Loftus never mentioned. They described what they were wearing, the color of the woman's sweater, the smell of popcorn from a nearby vendor. 25% of participants fully believed this fabricated memory was real. They could recall it with the same clarity as genuine childhood experiences. This phenomenon is called confabulation, the brain's tendency to fill gaps in memory with invented details. But it goes deeper than simple mistakes. Research from 2025 shows that false memories aren't just random neural misfires. They're constructed from emotional needs, unfulfilled desires, and psychological wounds the mind tries to heal by rewriting the past. Rachel's prom filled a void of teenage disappointment. Marcus's Hawaii trip gave him an escape he desperately needed but never took. Linda's brother Daniel answered a childhood loneliness that actually existed. The terrifying part? False memories are often more vivid than real ones. Real memories fade, blur, lose sensory detail over time. But implanted memories, whether self-generated or externally suggested, remain sharp because the brain treats them as important, emotionally significant events worth preserving perfectly. In April 2018, 15 former students from Riverside High School in Ohio gathered for a 10-year reunion planning committee. During the meeting, they reminisced about their graduation ceremony, the principal's speech about resilience, the choir singing "The Climb" by Miley Cyrus, the thunderstorm that started during the diploma distribution, forcing everyone to run inside. They all laughed about it. They all remembered it. But when they contacted the school to get photos for the reunion, they discovered something impossible. Graduation had been canceled that year due to a tornado warning. No ceremony occurred. Students received diplomas by mail. 15 people shared the same false memory, down to identical details. This is collective false memory, when groups create and reinforce fictional events until they become shared reality. It's the foundation of the Mandela effect, where thousands of people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, even though he lived until 2013. They remember news coverage that never aired. They remember funeral footage that doesn't exist. Some researchers propose a controversial theory. What if these aren't false memories at all? What if they're memory leaks from parallel timelines? Quantum physics suggests every decision creates a branching universe. In one timeline, Riverside High had graduation. In another, it was canceled. If those timelines are bleeding together, people might carry memories from lives they lived in alternate realities. Rachel stopped trusting her own mind. After discovering her prom never happened, she began questioning everything. Did her father really say, "I'm proud of you," before he died? Or did she invent that for comfort? Did her first kiss happen the way she remembered? Or had her brain embellished it over the years? She made lists of memories, tried to verify each one with evidence. Photos, witnesses, documents. Some checked out, others didn't. And some existed in a gray zone where no one else remembered them quite the way she did. The worst part wasn't the big false memories. It was the small ones. Rachel remembered putting her keys on the kitchen counter. They were in her purse. She remembered her sister wearing a blue dress at dinner. Her sister insisted it was black. Small discrepancies that used to feel like normal forgetfulness now felt like reality fracturing. If she couldn't trust her memory of yesterday, how could she trust her memory of 10 years ago? How could she trust anything? Online forums exploded with reports throughout 2024 and 2025. People remembering entire relationships that never existed, remembering jobs they never had, remembering homes they never lived in. Some remembered alternative versions of major life events, graduating from different colleges, marrying different people, living in different cities. And in every case, the false memory felt more emotionally real than their actual past. The pattern became clear. The memories people fabricated weren't random. They were better versions of their lives, happier childhoods, more successful careers, relationships that worked out instead of falling apart. The mind was rewriting history to be bearable, filling in what should have been instead of what was. But at what cost? If your past is fiction, what are you building your present on? What decisions are you making based on experiences that never happened? So here's what we're left with. Human memory is unreliable. It can be implanted, distorted, completely fabricated. Entire events can be inserted into your past, complete with sensory details, emotional weight, and absolute conviction they're real. And you'll never know the difference, because false memories don't feel false. They feel exactly like real ones, sometimes even more real. Or maybe the explanation is stranger. Maybe some of these memories aren't false at all. Maybe they're echoes from parallel lives bleeding through as reality branches collapse and merge. Maybe Rachel really did go to prom, just not in this version of the world. Maybe Marcus really went to Hawaii, and Linda really had a brother named Daniel, just not here, not in this timeline. The truth might be that there is no single truth, just fractured realities, overlapping timelines, and minds trying to make sense of memories that belong to versions of us we'll never meet. Check your most vivid memories, the ones that feel too perfect, too detailed, too emotionally complete, because real memories fade and blur at the edges. False ones stay crystal clear. And if you can't tell the difference between what happened and what your mind invented, how do you know which version of your past is real? How do you know which version of yourself you actually are? Rachel still remembers the weight of the crown. Marcus still tastes the Mai Tai. Linda still hears Daniel's laugh. And nothing, no evidence, no logic, no proof can erase what they remember. Because the memories exist, just not in the world everyone else lives in.